Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So essentially guys, as I did give you an update on my current previous video, of course, obviously Manchester United are expected, to orchestrate a big summer clear out, of course, and obviously we do know that Manchester United, of course, obviously want to rebuild indeed. And potentially, as I did say, Manchester United could get rid of up to 8 players, of course, this summer as well. From Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's preference, he wants to bring at least 5 new additions to Manchester United this summer. Reportedly, he's going to get around a spending spree of around £250 million to spend this summer as well. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified, the key positions, where he thinks Manchester United need to strengthen up. We definitely need a right back. We need someone young and ambitious on that right hand side. We definitely need a right winger as well. I think that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority, of course, to get a right winger in. Possibly we need a backup striker as well. We need a couple of additions in midfield, and we need a central defender, of course, as well. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring at least 5 new additions to Manchester United this summer, because potentially you can see the deficiencies in the squad. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to build a squad, worthy of the club's history as well. But potentially, obviously Champions League football is very, very essential for next season. So obviously Manchester United, want to get top 4 this season. So we want Champions League football for next season, as I said. So in that aspect, it can make us have more of a competitive summer window, and obviously, attract players to the highest level as well. But obviously, as we all do know, guys, we've got to get the right players, that have got the ability to elevate Manchester United, in the next 2 to 3 years at least, to graduate us back to that elite level, of course, as we was under Alex Ferguson, of course. And I think it's going to take Manchester United at least a couple of years, to get to that level, of course. So we have got to be ruthless in this summer transfer window. We've got to get our #1 priority targets, and that is very, very essential indeed. So it's good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is emphasising his targets. Of course, he is making plans for the summer. Obviously, we do know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to need backing in the summer, and obviously, Man United are obviously looking, to get a director of football. And I think there's been a lot of rumours going on about that since January, because obviously we need to get a director of footballing, to change the structure of the club and all that. There's been a few candidate names mentioned, but most recently Paul Mitchell has been spoken about as well. It's also said that Arsenal and Chelsea are interested in hiring Paul Mitchell in as well. Obviously, Paul Mitchell is born and bred in Manchester. Obviously, Paul Mitchell is head of recruitment at RP Leipzig, as I said. I think RP Leipzig are trying to convince him to sign a new contract with them until 2025. I think his current deal he's still under contract with them, I think, till the summer of 2020. But recent reports have said that he'll make a decision on his future with RP Leipzig this summer. Obviously, he used to be head of recruitment at Tottenham. He used to be head of recruitment at Southampton as well, where he did work alongside Mauricio Pochettino as well. So it's very, very essential that the club, of course, get a director of footballing as well. So for me, we haven't been performing very, very well, recently, to be quite honest with you. You can see the deficiencies in the squad, to be quite honest with you. Based on our bad vein of form, most recently, I still think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right man for Manchester United, and I still believe, that he can, take Manchester United forward, of course. But I still think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right fit for this. Is the right fit for Manchester United. I also think he's the right fit for the Manchester United squad as well. He is the right fit for the Manchester United squad as well. But as I did say, we've got to be ruthless in this summer window, because if you look at it, our recruitment policy is absolutely terrible indeed. And I think now, at this moment in time, there is quite a few players, that are not reliable enough, to represent Manchester United, week in, week out. And I do believe on Sunday against Everton, Solskjaer's got to rotate. He's got to drop, quite a few players as well, that are underperforming, of course, as well. So maybe you can blame Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in bits and bats. Some of his team selection, is wrong. He's starting, the wrong players and all that. So you can blame him in that aspect. But for the majority of it, I think he's mainly, blameless, to be quite honest with him as well. And I think the players on that pitch have got, have got to take responsibility, of course. And this summer, we've got to get the right players with the right mentality, because in this Manchester United team, we're lacking desire. There's no fight. There's no passion. We're lacking leaders in the team as well. So we've got to get the right recruitment this summer. Maybe perhaps we need probably more than 250 £50 million. You know, we're planning to rebuild, of course. I think maybe up to 8 players, you know, are set to, you know, to leave Manchester United this summer as well. But we do know, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. We didn't get anyone in January. We didn't get as priority targets last summer as well. And we do know overall a lot of money has been spent at Manchester United, of course, since Ferguson retired. I think we spent like over £700 million, of course, as well, you know, in all the managerial eras. You know, we've had different managers, you know, with different philosophies. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, as I did say, I still think he's the right man for Manchester United. But it just seemed to me, since he's got the job on a permanent basis, it just seemed to have gone all wrong, you know, for some reason. I can't really understand why, because obviously in that first 3 months, you know, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, was interim manager of Manchester United, you know, he was getting the best out of these group of players. You know, the performances were really, really good. Mainly, you know, the results were very, very positive indeed. You know, in them 3 months, you know, when he was manager interim, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well, it just seemed to have gone downhill, you know, since he's got the job permanently, of course, as well. I don't really understand why, you know, to be quite honest. I think we've took the foot off the gas, you know, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, definitely, you know, players have got to leave Manchester United this summer. So it could be up to 8 players, you know, this summer, as I said. We do know one player that's guaranteed to leave this summer, obviously, you know, and that's Antonio Valencia. Obviously, Valencia is aging up now. He's 33. Obviously, you know, Antonio Valencia is 33, and Antonio Valencia served 10 years at Manchester United, of course. Obviously, the club opted against the decision, you know, to give him that new 1-year extension, of course, as well. We opted against that decision, you know, to give him that new 1-year extension, Antonio Valencia. So he's going to be leaving this summer when his contract comes to an end. I think he's set to be going to the MLS or something like that, as reports did currently mention as well. I also want Ashley Young out of Manchester United as well, because I think there's some people who are sucking the life out of this club, and Ashley Young is a problem indeed. And Ashley Young now is 33 years of age. I think it was bad business from the club, you know, giving him that new 1-year extension. Don't get me wrong, he has been a good servant to the club over the years. I think this is now his 8th season as a Manchester United player, and obviously we still know, obviously, he's our first choice right back, but we've got to stop selecting Ashley Young, because he is the problem as well. His gash is Ashley Young, you know, to be quite honest. He was, as I did say, you know, he was a good winner back in the day, but now he gets exploited far too easily. He loses the possession far too easily. For me, he's too predictable, as well as Ashley Young. So potentially for me, he needs to get out of the club in the summer. And by the time his new 1-year extension, you know, expires, he'll be 35 years of age, and he's cost us quite a few games as Ashley Young, you know, to be quite honest with you. So he's making you know, the same mistakes, you know, week in, week out. So potentially Ashley Young has got to leave Manchester United this summer. As well, Rojo, I think he needs to leave in the summer as well. Thanks for your time at the club, but you're just potentially not good enough for Manchester United. Marcus Rojo, of course, I think his career has mainly been affected. You know, the amount of injuries, you know, he suffered as a Manchester United player. Struggled with his fitness regime. I know he's just recovered from long-term absence as Marcus Rojo, but I think he's on his way out of the club this summer as well. Chris Smalling, Phil Jones, want them out of the club this summer as well. Again, bad business from Manchester United. I don't know why Manchester United give Chris Smalling and Phil Jones, you know, long-term contracts, of course, as well. I don't really understand why, because potentially they're not good enough for Manchester United, as it got proven yesterday. And Phil Jones, I think he's been here since, like, 2011, so I think this is now his, 8th season now at Manchester United, you know, Phil Jones. I think we got him from Blackburn, was it, for around £17 million. We've got Chris Smalling. I think this is Chris Smalling's 9th season at Manchester United, so Chris Smalling's been here nearly 10 years, so Smalling and Phil Jones are, you know, they're being two long-in-serving players at the club as well. Chris Smalling, for me, is just basically, you know, used there as a backup option. To be quite fair, Chris Smalling's performances have mainly really improved, you know, to be quite honest with you. He wasn't good yesterday, but they have really improved, because mainly Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been going with Victor Lindelof and Chris Smalling as a centre-back partnership indeed. So potentially Chris Smalling for me just used there as a backup option. So I'd like to see Smalling and Phil Jones, you know, leave the club this summer as well. And they are both aging up. I think Jones is younger than Smalling. Is Jones like 27, Smalling's 28 or 29 or something like that as well. But I also want them out of the club this summer as well, you know, Phil Jones, Chris Smalling. And as I did say to you guys, if a new centre-back is to come to Manchester Manchester United this summer. If a new centre-back is to come to Manchester United this summer, Eric Bailly's future could be in doubt with the club as well. And I really, really highly rate Eric Bailly. I know at the moment he's out with a head concussion, Eric Bailly, but he hasn't been first choice anywhere. Obviously, Solsjaker's preferred the likes of Smalling and Phil Jones ahead of Eric Bailly. Eric Bailly, as I said, I really highly rate him. I think he's got great potential. Obviously, he's nearly heading into his 4th season now as a Manchester United player. Of course, the club paid £30 million for him from Villarreal, was it, back in 2016. It actually was one of Jose Mourinho's first signings, was Eric Bailly, of course, as well. So he has been, I think, potentially, he could possibly, leave Manchester United this summer if a new centre-back, of course, is to come in as well. I also want Darmian out of the club in the summer as well, and he's one of the likely players, that he's likely, to depart Manchester United this summer. Matteo Darmian, of course, he's just recovered for long-term absence, but he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time as a Manchester United player, as Matteo Darmian. And I think if he does leave this summer, I think potentially he could possibly make a return back to Italy, because he did spend the majority of his career in Italy. Obviously, when he was younger, he's obviously a former Torino player. That's where actually, Manchester United got him from. I think we paid just over £12 million for Matteo Darmian as well. So I can see him leaving in the summer. Herrera, Ander Herrera, as we all know as well, I think it's likely he's going to be on his way out in the summer as well. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and obviously, he's emphasising, a couple of targets, that could replace Ander Herrera as well. Obviously, recently, hasn't been playing, of course, Ander Herrera. Obviously, because he's had a knock injury. Could it be something to do, could it be something to do with, the rumours, obviously, saying that he's possibly, leaving Manchester United this summer as well. Reportedly, he has agreed a deal to join PSG, as he did allegedly say, on a free transfer. I think it's a 3-year deal worth around £150,000 a week, or it might be £170,000 a week. Reports came out the other week saying that Manchester United have been locked in contract negotiations with Herrera. Reportedly, Ander Herrera was demanding £200,000 a week from Man United. Reportedly, Manchester United were not willing to meet his £200,000 a week wage demands, so potentially we couldn't come to an agreement to get him a new contract, because this is what Ander Herrera, was demanding. But for me, Ander Herrera is not a £200,000 a week player. Don't get me wrong, he has been a good servant to the club. This is his 5th season now at Manchester United. He has had rough patches, during his tenure as a Manchester United player. For example, under Mourinho, he wasn't really getting a chance under Mourinho. He wasn't really starting games, Ander Herrera. But I've analysed his performances, especially since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come in, and mainly they have really, really improved. Obviously, most recently, he hasn't been playing Ander Herrera, but mainly, they have really, really improved Ander Herrera's performances. Ander Herrera said it's his 5th season now at Manchester United, of course, but he has been really fitting in that midfield trio very, very well. He can break up the play very, very well. He's tenacious. He's got a lot of tenacity about his play, but he's not a £200,000 a week player. And I think there is better midfielders out there than Ander Herrera, of course, that you could get for less than £200,000 a week, of course, as well, indeed. So now, obviously, want a couple of additions in that midfield, as I said. Paul Pogba's future, of course, is up in the air, guys, as you all know as well. And his performances have been really, really poor recently, Paul Pogba's. Paul Pogba, obviously, he's a World Cup winner. He's allegedly supposed to be the best midfielder in world football, and he is when he's playing in the right vein and right manner. But most recently, he has failed to replicate that, of course, as well. He's been one of our most influential players, don't get me wrong, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come in as Paul Pogba. But most recently, he's just been a shadow of himself, Paul Pogba. He's been invisible for the last at least 3 or 4 games, for Manchester United as well. And he's been very inconsistent indeed, to be quite honest with you. And there has been a lot of rumours, linking him with a move to Real Madrid. And from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's preference on the whole scenario, he insists Paul Pogba won't leave. He insists Paul Pogba's happy at Manchester United, and he insists Paul Pogba has still got a big future at the club as well. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's convinced Pogba will still be at Manchester United next season, of course, as well. But he has attracted interest from Real Madrid. Obviously, Zinedine Zidane is a big admirer of Paul Pogba. Zinedine Zidane himself is emphasising his targets. I think he's interested in the likes of Eden Hazard, and I think they've been interested in Sadio Mane and all that. So they're interested in quite a few players at Real Madrid. Of course, they're also interested in Tottenham's Christian Eriksen, of course, as well. But he's also an admirer of Paul Pogba as well. And obviously, Paul Pogba, was talking a lot about Real Madrid, a couple of weeks ago, saying, it would be a dream to play for them. He said Real Madrid is a dream for anyone as well. So he was talking a lot about Real Madrid. So that just indicates he's not intending on spending the rest of his playing career in England, of course, as well. Obviously, recent reports came out saying that Man United are reportedly willing to offer him the captain's armband on a permanent basis, to convince him, to stay at Manchester United, reportedly. So reportedly we're willing to offer him the captain's armband on a permanent basis, as I did say, to convince him to stay at Manchester United, of course. So obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got a decision to make who's going to get that captain's armband, of course, on a permanent basis. And reportedly we're willing to give it to Paul Pogba. I think Man United are in the process of beginning contract negotiations with Paul Pogba as well. Recent reports did say the other week, as I did up there, saying that reportedly he's demanding £500,000 a week from Manchester United if he is to sign a new deal with the club. But he's currently on £300,000 a week at the moment in his current deal, so potentially Paul Pogba is demanding a £200,000 pay rise if he is to sign a new contract with the club. He's still got over 2 years left on his deal. He's still in the contract here till 2021. There is also an option of a further year as well. So yeah, as I did currently say, what currently Alexis Sanchez is receiving at the club, it's taking its toll. It's totally affecting our wage structure in a bad way, as I do keep saying, because we've got quite a few players now, that are demanding, quite a bit more money indeed as well. Paul Pogba's heading into his 4th season as a United player. We got him from Juventus back in 2016 for £89 million. There were rumours last year saying that Barcelona were interested in him. There's also still been rumours going on that he could possibly make a return back to Italy, with his former club Juventus as well. So there's still, obviously his agent Mariola as well has had a couple of negotiations, with Real Madrid over the move. I think it came out the other week that he's been to Manchester as well, to negotiate a move for Paul Pogba as well. But yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer insists, he won't leave Manchester United, of course, as well. He's still 26 and, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him as well. For me, definitely Sanchez out of the club this summer as well, because he's been very, very inconsistent as a Manchester United player. Obviously, he's suffered, quite a few injuries as well. Most recently, just recovered from knee injury. So I think before yesterday's game, he missed the last 5 or 6 games, did Alexis Sanchez. And for me, he's been very inconsistent, when he has been given the chance, he just looks so restricted, and it just looks as though he hasn't been getting the freedom. And of course, as I did say, he has suffered quite a few injuries, and that's not good enough, for a player that's obviously our highest played player, and obviously the highest played player in the Premier League as well. And for me, he's not playing to the highest level anymore. He is age 30 now, don't forget, so potentially Alexis Sanchez has lost that yard of pace. So obviously, considering his substantial wages he's on, it's obviously going to be very, very difficult to find a buy for him this summer. Is there any teams out there that can afford to pay Alexis Sanchez's wages off? I do not know, but I think that's the factor, and it's totally affecting our wage structure in a bad way. Currently what Sanchez is receiving, of course, as well. So I can see him leaving Man United this summer. Whether we loan him out or whether Sanchez is willing to take a wage cut, I do not know. But there may be a couple of teams out there that can afford to pay his wages off as well. I think Lukaku could be possibly on his way out of the club in the summer as well. I think a few Manchester United fans are demanding, that Lukaku should be moved on this summer, because Lukaku, for me, he's got a good pedigree in the Premier League. His goal scoring form is very, very good. He's Romelu Lukaku's, and he's proven it fantastically well in the Premier League. But I've got reservations about him. He's too slow. His first touch concerns me. His finishing's poor. He doesn't get enough then runs in behind, and he's not reliable enough. Is Romelu Lukaku, especially when he's playing up top on his own as well. Of course, Manchester United paid around £75 million for Romelu Lukaku, of course, as well. But for me, he could be moved on in the summer as well. You got Juan Mata. He could be possibly moved on in the summer as well, because he comes to an end of his contract at the end of the season. Some people are saying obviously he doesn't fit under the system of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, and we know mainly Juan Mata hasn't been first choice. I still really, really like Juan Mata. He's obviously been a good servant to the club, and he's proven himself fantastically well. And he is age 30 now. I think this is his 5th season now as a Manchester United player. Obviously, he's a former Chelsea player where I did serve like 2.5, 3 years, of course, as well. I think he's made over 200 odd appearances for Manchester United as well. If we are to come to the agreement to get him a new contract, it'll probably be on a new 1-year extension, considering that he's age 30 now as well. So he could be possibly on his way out as well. But yeah, as I did currently say, David De Gea, we've not come to an agreement, yet. We haven't come to an agreement yet to get David De Gea a new contract at the club as well. And most recently, De Gea has been below par, to be quite honest. He is still potentially, the best goalkeeper in the world. But most recently, he has been making, quite a few mistakes. David De Gea, he did it against Barcelona yesterday. He did it against West Ham at the weekend as well. So is it something to do with a contract issue or something like that? I do not know. Reports came out the other week saying that he was demanding around around £350,000 a week from Manchester United. If he was to sign a new contract, reportedly Man United were not willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demand, so potentially Manchester United couldn't come to reportedly was demanding about £350,000 a week was David De Gea. Reportedly Man United are not willing to meet that, as I said, and his current deal at the moment, David De Gea is on £200,000 a week. Obviously Real Madrid have been long admirers of him. Obviously, recent reports did come out the other week saying that PSG have reportedly showed an interest in him as well. I think he's happy at Manchester United, is David De Gea, and he does want to commit his long-term future here, but I think he's demanding £350,000 a week, and Man United have been in the process of trying to get him a new contract. As I did say, he's still under contract here until the summer of 2020 as well. And most recently, other players have been really disappointed in, to be quite honest with you as well. I've been disappointed in the likes of Anthony Martial, to be quite honest. Since he's recovered from that groin injury, Martial has been very inconsistent indeed, and he just looks so ineffective, in that Manchester United team. I know he's still only young. I think he's 23 years of age, is Anthony Martial, and he was in really good form earlier on in the season, but most recently, he has failed to replicate that Anthony Martial. I've been very disappointed in Jesse Lingard as well. Jesse Lingard, his head's been knocked down as well, and Jesse Lingard hasn't been, playing really well for at least now the league. For about 2 months or something like that, so I haven't been happy with Jesse Lingard, and we know what he's capable of, on that right hand side, and he has proven himself, this season. But in the last couple of months at least, his performances have been way below par. Marcus Rashford again, I really like Marcus Rashford. He's Manchester born and bred, but his performances at least now for a couple of months, have been really below par indeed. And I do know Marcus Rashford, has sustained quite a few injuries. It's taken its toll on him. It's had a bad effect on his game. But yeah, he's not at that yet. He's not at that level yet, Marcus Rashford, and he hasn't graduated to that level. Obviously, we know he's not on the same level as Mbappe, and it could take him at least a couple of years to emulate to that kind of level, Marcus Rashford. So for me, he's probably still in the process of developing his Marcus Rashford. Of course, still got immense talent. He's only 21 years of age, of course, as well. But at least for the last couple of months now, Rashford's performances have been way below par. To be quite honest with you, I still really like Marcus Rashford. I said he's Manchester born and bred. He's progressing up the ranks fantastically well. He's been a Manchester United player, since the age of 7. He's been in the senior squad with us since 2016 as well. And reports have been coming out about Marcus Rashford, saying that he's demanding he wants around £300,000 a week, if he's to sign a new contract with Manchester United, because reports came out the other week saying that Manchester United, were in advanced talks, to get Marcus Rashford a new 5-year deal with the club, and reportedly he's demanding £300,000 a week, is Marcus Rashford. His current deal at the moment is on £80,000 a week, so if this was to process, his wages would increase by nearly 4 times, but at the moment he's still under contract here until 2020, with an option of a further year as well, so reports were coming out about that the other week as well. But Manchester United, of course, need signings, of course, as well, and there's a host of players Manchester United have showed an interest in. Recent reports have come out about Bruno Fernandes, as I think a lot of people, would have been updating you on a regular basis. Bruno Fernandes, of course, reportedly now has indicated that he does want to make the move to the Premier League. I think a few teams have attracted their interest in Bruno Fernandes, and Bruno Fernandes is only 24. He's had a great couple of years with Sporting Lisbon, reportedly. I think he's mainly an attacking midfielder as well. And do you think a player like him, do you think he'd be the right solution, for Manchester United? Of course, he's only 24 years of age, as I said. He's been at Sport. I think this is his second season now, if I'm right, with Sporting Lisbon. I think reports came out before saying that Manchester United have reportedly, reports were coming out from Portugal saying that Manchester United have been in negotiations, with Bruno Fernandes' representatives, of course, over a summer transfer as well. He has got a release clause in his deal with Sporting Lisbon, as Bruno Fernandes, I think of around £90 million, is it, or something like that as well. He has got a deal with Sporting Lisbon until 2023, of course, as well. But he has, been tearing up very well in Portugal. He can score goals, as he has proven. He can provide as well. So do you think he'd blend in very well in our midfield, Bruno Fernandes as well? So there has been a lot of talks going on about him as well. Joe Felix as well. There's also been a lot of talks about Joe Felix going on, as I've been updating you on a regular basis. Again, he's Portuguese, only 19 years of age. Of course, he's done very well in Portugal as well. He actually only broke into the Benfica first team last year, did Joe Felix. I think it did say Manchester United have instructed instructed scouts, to keep a close eye out on Joe Felix. And I think Man United scouts have been happy with his performances. So Manchester United scouts have been, watching him on a regular basis. He has got a buyout clause of around £100 million, I think, as well. He hasn't yet got into the senior squad with Portugal as well. But there has been a lot of talks about Joe Felix going on. I think he's mainly a winner, but he can play in other positions as well. So he is versatile, is Joe Felix as well. So we've also been interested in him as well. And he's very, very young. It's good that Ole Gunnar Solsjaker is showing an interest, in quite a few young players as well. We do also know the club's number one priority target is obviously, Jadon Sancho, of course, as well. But we do know, obviously, Jadon Sancho is going to cost us up to £100 million this summer. And that is obviously, if Jadon Sancho is for sale. But for me, he'd be the right solution for Manchester United. I think he'd link up very, very well, with Rashford and Martial in our front line. Of course, he's only just turned 19 years of age, not too long ago. He's under contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. But he has proven himself fantastically well in the last couple of years, with Borussia Dortmund as Jadon Sancho. Borussia Dortmund, I think, only paid about £7 or £8 million for Manchester City a couple of years ago as well. But Borussia Dortmund have been known, for doing business with their players. As I said, there's been a narrative going on about it now for the last 5 or 6 weeks, that Manchester United are heavily linked with him. And I think he's the club's number one priority target, is Jadon Sancho as well. So Manchester United, really, really want him. And if we were to come to an agreement to get him in the summer, it probably would make him the most expensive English footballer ever. But he's just recently, turned 19 years of age indeed as well. And we do also know there's still a lot of talks going on about Callum Hudson-Odoi as well, and he's a winner. He can also play as a forward as well. Obviously, back in January, Callum Hudson-Odoi was Bayern Munich's top priority target back in January. Bayern Munich held talks. Bayern Munich had a host of bids turned down for Callum Hudson-Odoi back in January. He actually wanted to leave Callum Hudson-Odoi. He actually put a transfer request in, but Chelsea, of course, were reluctant, to let him go. Obviously, Callum Hudson-Odoi. Obviously, he could still possibly, leave Chelsea this summer as well. I think Chelsea have been in the process, to try and convince him, to sign a new contract, but I don't think they've yet come to an agreement. He's still under contract with Chelsea until 2020, of course, as well. But I still think he's got strong reservations about his game time. But to be fair, most recently, Callum Hudson-Odoi, has been featuring, a little bit more for Chelsea. I think he's been featuring in the last couple of league games for Chelsea as well. But over the course of the season, he hasn't really, been given the opportunity, from the start. I think he has been featuring more regularly, in like cup competitions as Callum Hudson-Odoi, and it's probably likely that Manchester United, I think, it's likely that Bayern Munich, we will probably revive their interest in Callum Hudson-Odoi this summer. But reports came out the other week saying that Manchester United have joined the race for Callum Hudson-Odoi as well. I think Liverpool have held talks with Callum Hudson-Odoi's agent, but again, he's young, he's British, as I said, and he's only 18 years of age, is Callum Hudson-Odoi, and I think he's just not too long ago made his England senior debut as well. So potentially Manchester United being interested in him. I don't think Chelsea would want to lose him, especially if they lose Eden Hazard, of course. Chelsea have got a transfer ban, don't forget. They have appealed against the decision. I don't know if it's going to be delayed or not. I'm not too sure. But Manchester United have showed an interest in Callum Hudson-Odoi as well. So he's been another target for us as well. And so potentially, defensively, as we all know as well, we've been interested in quite a few defenders. And for me, you've got Toby Alderweireld that I think he'd be a great upgrade in our defence, if Manchester United, were to get Alderweireld this summer. Obviously, we do know, as I do keep saying, he's available for a reasonable figure. So I do know we're linked with the likes of Koulibaly and Rafael Varane. There's been a lot of talks going on about him, but they're going to cost quite a lot more money, of course. And you can see Toby Alderweireld is a much cheaper alternative, to them kind of players. I know Toby Alderweireld, he's nowhere near as good as them players, of course, but we still know that he is available for a reasonable figure this summer. It could be beneficial as well, obviously, because he's a Premier League proven as well. He's been at Tottenham a number of years now as Alderweireld, of course. I think this is like his 4th season now, is it, with Tottenham, Alderweireld as well. I think he's made about over 150 appearances for Tottenham as Alderweireld as well. Obviously, back in January, Tottenham activated a 12-month extension. and included this 25 million release clause, because obviously Alderweireld has refused to sign a new contract with Tottenham. Recent reports have said that Arsenal have also showed an interest in Alderweireld as well. So for me, I think he'd address our defensive deficiencies well. I think he'd be a good leader in our back line, and I think he wants to leave Tottenham this summer as well. You know, there's Toby Alderweireld, so there has been a lot of talks going on about that, and I think Man United are interested in triggering his 25 million release clause. Of course, as well. But I've got reservations about him now. He has just recently turned 30. He has lost that yard of pace a little bit as well. So I think he'd be still a good upgrade in our defence with Alderweireld. But we've also there's been a lot of talks, as I did say, going on about Raphael Varane as well. I really like Raphael Varane. He's gonna cost a lot of money. If we've got any chance of getting him this summer, I think Real Madrid are reluctant, to let him go unless any team is willing to meet his staggering release clause. Of course, because in his current deal, his release clause, Raphael Varane's is around £429 million, is it? Or something like that as well. And Real Madrid do know how much of a central player, of course, Raphael Varane is. Obviously, Raphael Varane is only 25, so he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. Obviously, now this is his 8th season with Real Madrid, and it's quite remarkable, what he's achieved there for a 25-year-old, Raphael Varane. I think he's won about 15, 16 major honours. I think he's made about 270 appearances in all competitions for Real Madrid as well. He's still got a contract with them until 2022 as well as Raphael Varane. But I do really highly rate Raphael Varane, and I do really like him indeed. He shows that ability to play out from the back. His defensive capabilities are very good. He's good in the air. He reads the game very well, and he's proven himself fantastically well, with Real Madrid. Then reports came out the other week saying that he's considering leaving Real Madrid this summer. Is Raphael Varane, but I think from Real Madrid's and Zinedine Zidane's perspective, they will not let him go. Indeed, and even if Real Madrid, weren't demanding his release clause to be triggered, it still cost Manchester United at least around £100 million, or maybe just a bit more as well. But I do really like Raphael Varane. We do know there's been a lot of talks, going on about Koulibaly as well, from Napoli. And recent reports have come out about Koulibaly saying that reportedly Napoli are demanding that they want around £110 million for Koulibaly this summer if they are willing to do any business, for Koulibaly. Because obviously Manchester United, of course, have been long admirers of Koulibaly, as we all know. We've been long admirers of him. Obviously, he recently signed a new deal with Napoli until 2023 as well. But I do really like him. And obviously, back in January, we had 3 bids turned down last summer as well. We're heavily linked with him as well. So I think it's obviously going to take a world record fee, to potentially convince Napoli to do any business this summer. But yeah, I really like him. Reports came out the other week saying that allegedly he switched agents. Obviously, report allegedly said that now his brother is representing him. But I think he's gone on to make over 200 appearances for Napoli. He's grown and developed fantastically well. He's been in Italy, as I did say, a number of years now. He's still 27 years of age. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him. I think he's nearly 28 years of age now. He's Koulibaly as well. But yeah, it's going to take a bid of at least around 100 or 110 million pounds, to convince Napoli, to sanction him off as well. And obviously, we've got making the most expensive defender in world football, of course, as well. But Manchester United have been long admirers of Koulibaly. Carlo Ancelotti had his preference on it quite a few weeks ago. He insists he won't leave, and he insists that Koulibaly is happier with Napoli, of course, as well. So yeah, we're linked with a lot of players, to be quite honest. I think we need a right back. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka, has got the ability to elevate Manchester United in the next couple of years, of course, at least. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is only 21 years of age. Again, he's one of England's youngest upcoming talents. And for me, he'd be a perfect successor to the likes of Valencia as well, and all that, with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's 21, as I said. He only broke into the Crystal Palace first team last year as well. So about 13, 14 months now, he's been in the first team with Crystal Palace as Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Again, available for a reasonable figure. I think he's rated at around £40 million is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But reports came out the other week saying that Manchester United were preparing to put a bid in of around £35 million, of course, for him as well. So we definitely need a right back, and I think we've identified Aaron Wan-Bissaka as the right candidate indeed. So yeah, as I did say, guys, nothing much really more to say, to be quite honest with you. That's everything I want to update you with today. So yeah, we want to rebuild this summer. We're expected to orchestrate a big summer clear out, as I did currently say. as I did currently say. So it is good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is making plans for the summer. But as I did currently say, at this moment in time, there is some players, you know, that are not reliable enough at this moment in time, you know, to represent Manchester United, you know, week in, week out. So I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, has got to make some rotations. Indeed, I also think our recruitment policy is terrible. Indeed, so this is why we've got to be ruthless in the summer transfer window. But I still think, regardless that we've been in bad vein of form recently, I'm still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I still think he's the right man for Manchester United, you know, to elevate us forward, and I still think he's the perfect fit for this Manchester United squad, of course, as well, indeed. And that's my opinion, of course, as well. You're getting some Manchester United fans, you know, that are saying Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out. You know, you shouldn't be really saying that, you know, to be quite honest with you. If I said that, you know, I'd be a bit bizarre, I'd be a bit of an hypocrite, but he's still going to get my full backing, his Solskjaer as well. So potentially, we've got difficult games coming up in the league. You know, we've got Chelsea at Old Trafford coming up soon. Well, our next two home games are Manchester City and Chelsea, of course, and they're going to be two extremely difficult games. Indeed, as aspirations is top four, we want that top four, and that's what Manchester United are aiming for. So potentially, we've got to probably win every game now to the end of the season, you know, to keep our top four ambitions alive. Because Arsenal, obviously, you know, I think they've played all the top six now this season, and Arsenal are doing pretty well at the moment as well. So there is quite a few teams, you know, going for that top four now, of course, as well. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribing, as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.